Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes, facts, boots, and other stuff. Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes and our drops of the week. I'm Zach, joined as always for this by Mason, and we have some comics to get into, talk about some things we picked up this week, things we're looking forward to coming out the next week, because there's some DC stuff I'm looking forward to in terms of the dawn of DC stuff, but also look at some of the things as I said, we picked up this week, but also that I finally caught up on. And I guess before we get into this week's releases that we picked up, just so we stick with, you know, the oldest, I guess, business before we get to the newest business, I finally read Superman 1. And I really liked it a lot.
Oh, I loved it too. Did you read Action Comics 1050?
I haven't.
Okay, do you want me to just give you a quick run?
Yeah.
So in that, it's basically it's after the Warworld saga by Kennedy Johnson, which I've started. I need to finish, but Superman's back. He was gone from Earth. He came back, and then Luthor kidnaps Manchester Black and hips him up to a machine to basically make the world forget that Clark Kent is Superman. Because remember, during Bendis' Superman run, he revealed himself to the world, and some people liked it, some people didn't. I was indifferent at the time, but I mean, you can only still tell me so many stories like that. So Manchester Black, he makes a whole thing go out to the world. It kills Manchester Black. We'll see if it sticks. And but if you were the fun thing is any superhero who had like psychic blockers, so Batman, Wonder Woman, all the Justice League, most of the Titans, pretty much anybody who's a hero who knows who Clark Kent is still knows, and anybody who's on the Kent farm, because the Kent farm had some shielding, they know too. The funny thing was, so Jimmy still knows, Lois still knows, John still knows, everyone, John's boyfriend still knows. The funny thing was, at the end of that, Perry was outside the farm, outside like this little shield the farm had during the raise. So when he forgets by the time he gets to the thing, and Clark's in his Superman outfit, he walks in, he's like, "Wait, Clark? Yo, what the hell?" And has a heart attack, or he has some type of attack, and that's why he's out of commission.
Okay,
so
yes.
That's why and then Superman whoops Lex Luthor one last time, throws him in prison.
Okay, so that takes us to where we were before here.
Yeah,
that gives me a little bit of backstory.
That's the weird thing. You have to read Action before this, otherwise you're also gonna be wondering why the hell Lois is editor-in-chief.
Yes, and that explains after you bring up because we see in the panel early on, I guess it's kind of mid-book, Clark goes up to the roof, and he's like, he's been through a lot, and it kind of gives like just a giant portrait of a lot of different things, which I feel like you just summed up there, because you see him even holding like Perry, as it looks like he's, collapsed. So he's on sabbatical.
Thankfully he's not dead. Yeah, that would suck. Lois
is taken over as editor-in-chief. I don't want to give away necessarily all of the book. It looks like it's going to be really good. I liked how there's parts of Lex Luthor. I guess this isn't a spoiler at all. Early on, we see in the very first battle, there's these bubbles, and they're kind of highlighted in green.
Yeah.
And at first, when I read it, I was like, who in the world?
Is this Brainiac talking to something?
Yeah. Is talking to him. And Lex is just essentially trying to get Superman to take whatever threat he has told him about more serious, of like, you're wasting your time. Just go ahead and kill this guy. Like,
just punch Livewire really hard. What's she going to do?
Exactly. And it's just interesting to see Superman kind of have to tune that out to be able to still be Superman through all of this.
Because he made Lex one of the few voices he will always hear no matter what.
Exactly. And it's a weird thing of where LexCorp turns into Supercorp.
Because he sold LexCorp to Clark. No, he sold it to Superman specifically. just to screw with them.
Again, I will
And
say,
you can't give it. And you can't. I'm sorry. I don't want to spoil too much. One last thing. You can't give it away because if you shut it down, I fire everybody and no pension or anything.
Yeah, and he's like, that's such a.
Of course he would do.
Yeah.
Of course he would do.
I really enjoy the art. I think it looks great with it too. I'm going to be very interested to see where this turns out.
Yeah, especially with the
where
ending.
this runs. Yeah, no, the way it ended. I will ask you, do we know? And we can kind of talk about this then off or not. Whose hand that is?
I believe this is a new villain getting
That they're
introduced
setting, okay.
the next issue, I believe.
Okay, that's
Because
what
it
I
ends
thought.
with the typical DC first thing where there's some teases to stuff because we see
Oh yeah, about
him like in the Old West, which looks really cool, and then some new villains.
yeah.
And then Bizarro might come back, and then
Yes,
the
this
big-
looked very Bizarro-ish.
Yeah. And then maybe Brainiac's coming at some point. I'm excited for this. I mean, I've started reading Joshua Williams' Flash. I haven't read all of it, but I did love Flash Year One. You ever read Flash Year One?
No, I haven't.
That's a really fun story. If you want to just give someone just a cool little story just to read, Flash Year One's really good. Whether it's not on, literally wise, it's not on par much at all with Batman Year One, but it's still it's just a fun Flash story. It's really cool. And my favorite cover of Flash ever, where it's just him on top of a mountain of running shoes that are just worn out.
I love that visual. So, from a Superman book that I loved too, and granted we can talk about it too, as we move into the things that we picked up this week.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and I actually just read this, so it's very fresh in my mind. I picked up issue 1 of Superman Lost.
1 of 10.
Yes. And I love your cover way more than, not gonna lie. Not to say this is a bad cover.
Yeah, that's a great. I think that's a Lee Weeks cover, isn't it?
Priest, Pagulan, and Paz Cox. Yeah.
It's hard to tell with those signatures. It's a good cover. Plus, also mine was cheaper, $1 cheaper.
That is true. So, still though,
So that's one quick tangent. One annoying thing DC's doing, pretty much all their Batman, Superman variants are $1 extra, only
Yes.
because they're printed on better quality covers, which I get, but you could just print it on regular format. I would still buy that cover. 'Cause that's a
Exactly.
great cover. I
Exactly.
argue that's better than this one,
I
but
don't know. I see. I like them both, but I prefer
Yeah.
yours. This story, I'm interested in a sense, but I thought we were going to get more of a tease than what we did in a way.
yeah. Plus, it's also very different than what I was expecting because the whole premise was Superman goes away for 20 years and comes back. I thought he was going to get stuck out in space or somewhere, and then he's going to come back and 20 years have passed. Not he was gone
That's
for 20.
what the cover makes you think for sure.
Yeah, which I mean, this alternative, I'm sure, is still going to be great. He experienced 20 years. I mean, that's a classic Star Trek thing. Adventure Time did it.
I love Adventure Time.
Yeah. It was interesting. I'm glad the Justice League showed up.
Yeah.
It was cool. Like I said, I'm gonna give it 2 more issues. If I don't like it by the end of issue 3, I'll drop it. But
I'm interested to see what happened in this 20 years then.
Yeah.
My biggest pet peeve.
also, where that whole incident in the beginning, where's that gonna tie in? Is that just an incident with the car spilling the money?
Yeah, that's right at the beginning. So you might have just picked it up and flipped through the first couple pages and seen that. Yeah, it's like I don't know if she's related to a senator or.
Oh yeah, she works for a senator. I'm just wondering how this senator is gonna play into this overall story,
or if it's just kind of something that they used to set up at the beginning. It is just interesting to see. I thought that we would just get a little bit more tease of like, hey, here's what happened a bit, but it just kind of ended on a like, you got some explaining to do. So it sets it up though, like everything we know now what happened. So I guess issue 2 is going to make sure to kind of ramp it up. So I guess looking back, it's a 10. Obviously, it's a 10-issue story, so you're going to have to take some time to set it up. So if issue 1 is the setup for it, and issue 2 really ramps up, then this could be very good. But
I will be irritated if issue 2 was just more setup. Hopefully, it's not that.
Yeah. Art's good.
Art was great. I need to look up how to say this dude's name.
Yes.
Pagulian. I think I said that right. His art is amazing. I really also just look at some of his Deathstroke stuff. It's also fantastic.
Yeah, no, I love the way it looks. So those were the 2 Superman books I picked up. You've finished. I'm only a couple pages into, but I can tell you that I think I'm really gonna like this, and it's a new one actually from Image.
Yeah, part of the Massive Verse, the Radiant Black stuff. No one. This one came out of nowhere. Well, they've been hyping up for months, but this is a character. If you like the Massiverse, or if you're a little worried to get into it because there's so many books now, this one is as far as I immediate memory, no one has not been mentioned or appeared in any other books. This is like, if you want just a brand new thing, no one is a good place to start.
And this is what I love to look for, at least. I'm only recently now getting back into modern, comics and trying to keep up with them. I still have a lot of the old stuff that I just need to feel like, the greats that I have to go back and read. With it being,
I still haven't read any of Wade's Flash run, but I hear that's amazing.
Exactly. With an art form that's been going on for, 80 plus years, there's so much out there to read. But I just want to try to, keep up a little bit. And so I like finding places to jump on. And that's what kind of made this a little appealing too, because obviously issue 1 here felt like a place to jump in, and it seems like something a couple pages in that I'm going to like a lot.
Yeah, it's a very noir-esque story, crime story, which is always really cool if you do it right. And so far, they're doing it right this first issue, I feel. I got the Christian Ward variant cover, but all the covers for this book were really good.
Yes, they were. Yeah. The only reason I went with this one is just because the one that I had seen all the time for the new release, and I was like, that's the one I just kind of grew to like more and more I saw it. So I'm going to be really excited about No One. I picked up, and you can go over it a little bit briefly. I am halfway through. I'm terrible at this. I don't know who stops halfway through, but I did on this. Issue 2 of Nemesis.
It's issue 3.
And I just picked up issue 3, so I haven't read 3 yet. I'm saying,
you started issue 2.
I'm a little behind. I'm about halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way through 2. We'll wrap this up this weekend, and we'll read this weekend as well. I say that I do have something coming in the mail today that I'm super excited to finally sink my teeth into. It's something I've wanted to read for a long time, and that is Tom King's Mr. Miracle.
Oh, you haven't read that yet?
No, I haven't.
That is...
yet. So
it's hard to get through. It's only hard when I say hard to get through. It's hard to get through. I mean, like emotionally, and I don't like saying that because I like more fun stories and more emotional stuff. But it has the fun in it, along with just like
here's what I'll say before we get into Nemesis real quick, just talking about Tom King's Mr. Miracle. I like Tom King as a storyteller. I know he's kind of some people like him, some people don't. But at least with the stuff I've read, I enjoyed for the most part his Batman run. Yeah. I like
when you go for 85 issues, there's going to be some bad arcs in there.
You can't knock it out of the park every time. But so I liked it for the most part. But with Mr. Miracle, I read the first issue. And I was just so like, it stuck with me for days. And just the first one, I was like, I just have to buy the trade paperback or the collection of it all. So I did. And that is also what I'm reading this weekend. Looking forward to it a lot. But so we'll be able to talk about that next week too. Nemesis Reloaded. I've
still a really fun book.
It's Nemesis. Like, at least that's what I can say so far. The art's been great. I've loved it. It's worked really well.
Jorge Jimenez just keeps knocking it out. I really hope he goes back to DC or anything, even if it doesn't go back to DC, anything else he does, if I see his name on art, I'm going to try to pick it up just because.
Yes, I've really enjoyed it. Another thing I've picked up, I'm trying to kind of also look at some non-Marvel and DC titles, and I know,
and Boom's a great place to do that.
I'm a little bit behind because I believe issue 2 came out this week, but they were out of issue 2, so I was able to just pick up one and start from the beginning. I picked up Horror because I do enjoy some good horror in comics, and so I'm going to go ahead and give this a try and see where this heads. So that's one I'm going to look forward to. So far, just flipping through, I like the way the art looks, so I'll be able to report back on that later after I'm able to get a try. What else did you pick up this week, Mason?
I also like a lot of Boom stuff. I'm behind on their stuff just because so much of their stuff is good, especially if you like comics, but you're kind of tired of superheroes. Image is Image is a good place to start, but I would always recommend Boom first. Now it used to be Image first, now it's Boom, just because they're just more diverse when there's the way they tell their stories.
No, it looks like
also their cover quality. I just love the way their covers feel.
Oh yeah, no, it feels really cool.
No. Now I was just praising Boom. Now here's a Boom book which I liked, but this ending I just don't like at all. As I mentioned last week, the Keanu Reeves, Matt Kent written book, Ron Gani art, Bill Crabtree, Berserker. It blew up. It got so many reprints because it's Keanu Reeves writing a comic book.
Yeah.
And I got into that hype train. I fell for it. I like Keanu Reeves. I'm excited for John Wick 4. It's gonna be awesome. But and this
Lewis Riddick though.
Lance Riddick, yeah, that's gonna hurt. Honest, that's Lance. That's gonna suck saying that. I hope he doesn't. I just hope he doesn't die in the movie because that's really gonna suck then. But he's got some other stuff that was also in post production, so like he's gonna live on.
He was in. I know they're not bringing it back, but he was just in the Resident Evil.
Yeah, he was
Netflix
Wesker.
Too,
yeah, which really sucks because that show sucked. But I mean, he's always good at everything.
He's good at everything.
Sorry. Berserker issue 12. It's an ending. It's for me. I know art. I know writing and drawing comics is hard. I'm not trying to sound like an a-hole, but for when it takes you 2 years to put out 12 issues, many months breaks in between. Again, I'm not trying to sound like an a-hole. This is hard. I know it is. I could never do this, but this just two spoilers. I just don't like the ending. Also, the problem was it took too long between each issue. Because the last issue came out in December, and we're near the end, midway through March. Maybe I could have kept rereading it, but one, I don't have that kind of time. And the story itself was good. The art and the violence was what's keeping me interested. It wasn't necessarily the story.
Yeah.
So I wasn't maybe if I go back and reread this, I'll love it. But
Well, I know at least, obviously, I'm not caught up with it, but there's so many times that I've read about things in the past where you hear about just delays in books that just kind of not only kill interest, but kind of just kill the creative flow of it too. And some books kind of feel disjointed, but it's just because, either editorial delays or whatever it is that causes it, or just causing
delayed, or the artist.
Yeah, exactly.
Delayed.
So I could see how that could affect it too.
And I want to be sympathetic, and I am, but also I need another to remember. It's like, no, these are these people's jobs. They're paid to do this, and I paid money for this, so I'm allowed to be a little irritated that I was, especially if this was $7, Zach. It's an oversized issue, so it was $7. If it was $4, I might not be that mad, but this was $7. That's a goddamn McChicken.
That's more than one, I think.
Actually, no, it's only one. It's only one now. Remember, it's they had a $2 bundle, but now it's a $3.29 bundle. So if you want a McChicken, a small fry,
just one McChicken.
It's one McChicken. Inflation. I love it.
I do want to ask you about, and you have to help me on this because I almost picked up, and it's just because I was trying to stay within a certain budget this week. I saw. Oh, I didn't mean to make you take out of order. I just saw the Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah,
and it made me think of. I almost picked up Hellcat #1 this week.
I want to. I like Christopher. I liked what Christopher Cantwell did in the issues of his Iron Man I read. I like Patsy.
I do too. Again, I'm just trying to find places to jump in, and I'm gonna need your help here because if anybody's gonna be able to help me find a place, I need a Marvel book either coming out soon or where that I'm gonna be able to hop on and know where I can go. At least I know with DC, like I can pick up. Well, I'll say
all the new #1s because they literally have a pamphlet in the back.
Exactly, all the new #1s, and we can get to it because one of them's coming out next week that I'm looking forward to, as well as a place that's not necessarily a #1, but we've been told is going to be a good place to hop onto the series finally. So I need you to help me find a good Marvel book that has a place I can hop into. But what I wanted to bring up with Captain Marvel is I saw this too. This cover just completely caught my eye, and I I love it.
Yeah, it's the issue 47 of the Kelly Thompson run of Captain Marvel, which is the longest this book has ever gone, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I also it's not the most groundbreaking series, but it's just fun. Carol doing fun Captain Marvel stuff with her friends and allies. Spider-Woman's featured a lot. You get Hazmat from Avengers Academy for all my young people out there. It's fun right now. They're in the middle of a bit of a crossover with the X-Men. More essentially, they're fighting the Brood, as you can see. It's a really cool story because she has history with the Brood, which I need to go back and read, but it's cool that I know that. And then there's the X-Men are doing some issues with dealing with this too, but I think that their part of that is done. But you can just read Captain Marvel. It's a fun story. I think this arc is done at issue 50. I'll double check on the app in a second. Give me 1 sec. Keep talking while I think of new Marvel #1's coming out. No, wait. If you want, doctors, when we get to our recommendations for the week this airs, Doctor Strange #1, the new Doctor Strange comes out.
Okay.
This upcoming Wednesday.
Okay, there we go. So I do have a
or
book
today,
I can pick up
if you're listening to this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
which I might pick up, honestly.
So I do need a Marvel book to pick up. So then there we go. That's something I can look forward to.
Captain Marvel is also fun. I won't tell anyone not to pick that one up.
Yeah. Well, the cover just drew my eye, and I was like, all right, this looks fun. And you talked about Spider-Woman there. I see her on the cover as well. Is that you said it was an X-Men?
Yeah, X-Men characters. Rogue and Polaris and Gambit are in this too.
Really cool.
Oh, and Laura Wolverine.
I do love her.
Yeah, that's a fun book. I also picked up Hulk 13. One more issue before this is over, written and drawn by Ryan Otley, with Titan taking over the Hulk. It's really fun. Well, it's not the funnest thing. It's fun. Otley's get to draw some more violent art, so it's cool. I don't know why I'm still picking this up. Just kind of one more issue, see how it ends before it relaunches again in June.
Can I ask a stupid question? And am I thinking of our current Hulk? You can correct me. In spoiler alert, maybe, I don't know if not. Is our Hulk? Or is this Hulk dead, or was he recently dead? Or am I thinking of what am I thinking of?
I think you're thinking of Immortal Hulk. Hulk doesn't.
Is that going on right now though?
Immortal Hulk? No, that ended about 2 years ago, man.
Never mind. I am behind. Okay, I was reading something Hulk related recently, and I didn't know if it was something.
But Hulk is restarting. I believe it's June or May with a new creative team, a great creative team actually. So that'll be a new thing you can start soon.
Sweet. So I am going to have some upcoming Marvel books I'm going to hop onto. Okay. Perfect.
That was fun. One more issue, and then this run is over. I don't know why I'm still picking it up, just to see how it ends. Otley's art, Ryan Otley art, Invincible. You can't go wrong. I also got. I got too many damn books this week. Next week, I am really cutting back.
No, you're totally fine.
I got issue 3 of Black Cook, also written by Kelly Thompson, by art by Meredith McLaren. A really fun, really great cover. A really fun fantasy detective story where they're investigating a murder, but everyone's like either fairies, there's mermaids. It's a good story. I don't want to get too spoilery, but only 3 issues in. A fun story. The art might turn off some people if you only like read superhero stuff. The art might turn you off for a bit because it's more not necessarily cartoony. It's more kind of pop, colorful kind of art instead of big muscles.
Yeah.
Like if you want to look through it really briefly, if you could describe it better. It's really beautiful art.
It is. I get what you're saying. It's more of a. I don't want to call it
animated. It feels like it's animated, I think.
Yeah, in a sense, it's an
Ghibli,
animated
maybe
style.
Ghibli-esque. Would that work?
Yeah, in a sense, it's kind of okay. I'm gonna say it. I don't want it to sound. And I don't mean this negative to any form of it, but it's like a webtoon meets a like fantasy.
Yeah.
Ghibli-esque world. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not, and yeah, he's not. That's the way you would describe it.
Right.
It's because it's not. When people pick this up, I don't want people to get thrown off by the art. It's a really beautiful art style.
I do like it. I do, and the cover is really cool too. Yeah. I like that a lot. So that's really cool.
Even the alternate covers, all the covers for this have been great so far. Like I'm really liking the story. I hope it goes on for a while. Got Gunslinger Spawn 18, McFarlane Booth, great art. I just came through it because I'm behind on that book, but I'm still getting it just because it looks so cool.
Another awesome cover.
And then the last one I got is Noctera #12 Noctera's finally back. Been gone for a hiatus, but I don't know if it's kind of feeling like this is the last arc based on this book.
So they're gonna.
I don't know if it is or isn't, but I mean, Scott Snyder doesn't do long stuff anymore. So.
Yeah. Oh, wait. It's. I always forget that Scott Snyder's doing that.
Yeah, Scott Snyder and Tony Daniel art every issue except for the specials, and if you want to look at that, it's freaking amazing. It's fun, a great villain, good heroes. Just a fun story.
Just looks great.
And again, if anybody's doing art, Tony Daniel is killing it still.
That looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I might have to pick that up then too.
Sorry, I'm definitely do you want to go over what you're gonna before we wrap up?
Before you just kind of brought this up that you thought I might end up. Just some news I read. I guess the weekend to do that. A couple DC series are coming to an end in June, I think.
Oh yeah.
The Batgirls I saw was ending.
Oh, that
and
sucks.
then also was it Tim Drake Robin? Or I don't know the exact.
I think
name
it's
of the
Tim Drake
book.
Robin. Yeah.
Okay. I think
that's unfortunate, but I mean, I wasn't reading those, but I'm sure people were.
It seemed like people liked him, and I got to be honest, I really enjoyed the art of Batgirls. I have the first couple issues, and I kept meaning to read it. If anything, just because I really liked the art. That was another very kind of like animated style, but to me, it just kind of it worked.
If Batgirls are in any place to do that, that's what it is.
Exactly. But so I read that those are coming to an end. I think issue 19 of Batgirls and issue 12 maybe or 11. It didn't get too far with the Tim Drake Robin either. But
someone will bring him back. Tim Drake's going nowhere.
Oh no, yeah. You're right. So what we're looking forward to this week, at least what I'm looking forward to, now that I know, obviously,
or I guess today, really.
Today, you're right. Excuse me, we dropped today. What I will be getting now that it's out this week, I am completely blanking. Oh, the Doctor Strange one you told me, of course, now from Marvel. But also,
it's gonna be good. I don't know. Jed McKay's writing it, who wrote the Clea Strange Doctor Strange, which was great.
Okay.
And I really liked it, at least. And then Pascal Ferry is doing art, so
nice.
Hopefully it'll be good.
I'll still pick that up because I need a Marvel book to pick up. But a new #1 for Donna DC, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's coming out this week, is the new Doom Patrol book. And I will be picking up it's a #1 for Doom Patrol, and I think also Superman 2 comes out this week.
Superman 2 does come out, and that I'm really excited for. I'm not seeing Doom Patrol on my app. The last Batman one of those Batman One Bad Days comes out this week.
See, I'm waiting. I feel like I'm just waiting for them all to come out now.
Yeah,
then
I want to read them, but they're $8 each,
That's
and
true, too.
I'm sure most of them are good. They look so good. I heard the Clayface one is amazing. I heard the Riddler one's great. I heard a lot of them are really good. I just don't know if I want to drop 8 issues, especially if I don't like the story.
Well, yeah. I do like the premise still.
Oh, one cool thing: Swamp Thing Green Hell is finally ending. Do you remember Swamp Thing Green Hell?
No.
It's written by Jeff Lemire, art by Doug Mank. I believe Doug Mahnk. He's a great artist. This book came out. This book started 2 years ago. The first issue of Swamp Thing Green Hell is Jeff Lemire. It's one of the I don't know if they're still doing Black Label, but Black Label. Mm-hmm. It's a dark Black Label Swamp Thing, so he can murder people and stuff. Came out in December 28th of 2021. Then issue 2 came out in February 14th of this year, and issue 3 comes out next week. So it ends finally. Just I want to know what happened that year. Was it Jeff Lemire? Did Doug Mank have some issues? I don't want to assume. It's just I'm not picking it up because I read the first issue. I liked it and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But it also ended this week. Well, last week, I guess. Which did you check out Gotham City Year 1?
No.
I heard that one's really good.
I heard it's really good too.
Yeah.
I have not made it my way to it. Oh, there is a one shot that I thought about picking up, but again, we talk about prices with the One Bad Days. I don't know if I want to spend $10 on it, but the Legion of Bloom.
Oh yeah,
it's at least an interesting enough concept to see like Swamp Thing, Wonder Woman, and Batman on the cover with what's his name from Doom Patrol, the animal mineral. I can't think of it. The
Floronic Man.
Yeah. Well, Floronic Man's on there too, but there's Dude, that's like part dinosaur, part tree, part.
I don't know Doom Patrol at all.
There. Yeah, fair enough.
I need to.
But so Batman Superman the World's Finest 13 coming out this week.
I read the first few issues of that. That was a good series. If Dan Moore is doing art, that's really good.
I need to catch up on that because I know that the first part of that kind of is the lead into, or at least kind of gives you set up for the whole Batman versus Robin and then into the Planet Lazarus and all that thing.
I'll be honest with you. Don't bother reading. If you're going to read Lazarus Planet, read the Alpha and the Omega. All the tie-ins, they're fun, but they are all just, and I kind of knew this going in, they're all just set up for stuff that's coming out later in the year.
Okay.
Laura just like, here's a fun little story with this character doing something.
I know
it's all set up.
I read on Free Comic Book Day, I think they're giving out kind of a primer for the Dawn of DC. I think is what I read to kind of set it up.
But we've already been halfway through the Dawn of DC. Who made that decision?
I don't know. It was kind of weird to wait until May to go ahead and set that out. But I know that they have a lot of stuff coming out. I think that's when the new Batman Brave and the Bold series starts.
I think that.
Or is that May? That may be April. Is it? It's either April or May, I thought.
Or I think somewhere over June. Like, I mean, a lot of the stuff is coming out. Coming out by that point. Like, a lot of the new stuff is coming out. I think Wonder Woman and Hawkwoman start at the same time. So.
Mm-hmm. You also told me, just a bit of news to close us out too, that they're bringing back Uncanny Avengers, and I think that is also, aren't they releasing something related to that on Free Comic Book Day too?
Yeah, that's going to be a preview in Free Comic Book Day. So Marvel had this X-Men 60 years anniversary event. If you had a Marvel Unlimited, well, if you're an annual subscriber to Marvel Unlimited, which I'm not, but if you paid. If you have a Marvel Insider, it's just their fun little thing on their site where if you watch these videos and you get points. Yeah. And I had a lot of points and I got to use them to get a ticket. So I watched the Zoom event. It was really fun. It was just talk to create. It was the Simonsons, Bo Simonsons, Claremont, Morrison, Hickman, Duggan, some editors, and also some voice actors and the head writer for the 97 show. They all just talked on different panels, just like, what do we like about the X-Men? What do we love about them? That's awesome. Also, Liefeld and Silvestri had a panel too. That one was really fun because just sometimes I forget how much Rob Liefeld actually likes comics.
Oh yeah, no, he does. I mean, he does get. I know that he catches a lot of heat sometimes for the way he draws things. Yeah. A lot of pouches. We get it. That's fun.
But he's passionate, man.
He is. Yeah. And I can never at least argue with that about him.
And then at the end, they announced there's going to be a new Hellfire Gala. If you're following X-Men, you know what that is. They're bringing back Uncanny Avengers with the lineup being Captain America. I think Quicksilver's on it too. Captain America, Quicksilver, Deadpool, Penance, Monet, Psylocke, a new Captain Krakoa, and I think one other person I'm missing. But the fact, I just like that they're bringing the concept back because I get why they got rid of it. It hasn't been around since Secret Wars. Actually, wait, I think I'm wrong. I think it went away. It's been gone for a while. I feel like that's a book that since you brought it in, it should always be a thing. And maybe, I know there's a lot of books out there. Just I like the idea of unity, the two groups who are never together coming together. It's just fun.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there too. So that's another thing I can look forward to picking up here soon. As always, we thank you guys for taking the time out to listen to us. And until next time, stay safe, everybody.
Oh, my God. Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.